Hey guys, it's Matt here with the Wise Buy Guy, and today I'm really excited to talk about a brand new knife that I just got in the mail today. I've already spent probably the last hour or so playing with this knife. It's a pretty epic knife, so I want to talk about the Warrior Poet Society Fox folding knife. So the knife, when you get it, is going to come in a very fancy case. Got a little belt loops on the back. Not quite sure why it's got the belt loop on the back. For those who don't know about the Warrior Poet Society, look them up on YouTube. John Lovell, the guys there, fantastic content. They have a wonderful little morale patch right on the front there. That's going to go on a bag. And then inside this very nifty little pouch is the Fox folder. We'll look at this in a second. The pouch also has like a little, travel pouch. I'm not sure why it's so nice, but I'm definitely going to use this for something. So, the War Poet Fox folding knife. So let's take a look at this. So when I first saw this knife, it was in a video that John Lovell posted, and I immediately was like, I got to get one of those. For those who have been fans of sharp, pokey, fun-sounding things for the last several years, you guys may remember a knife called the Colonel Knife Blade. Colonel Knife has been discontinued now for some years, but they were kind of the design of this knife that was originally very much like one of the K-Bar TDIs. It was a knife that was a kind of a punching knife. It was a knife that didn't require much knife expertise to use. For those who are kind of new to knives, other than opening boxes and just being cool, they do have a role in EDC self-defense, but most knives require a significant amount of training to become proficient. However, knives such as the K-Bar TDI, where you simply grab and punch, require very little training to become very proficient. So Colonel Blades had a knife very similar to this, a little bit better quality, of course, and they had a folding knife with the exact same kind of style and look as our K-Bar. So here's what makes this knife fantastic. I'm pretty sure this is actually a replica of the Colonel Knife Blade. I've got some numbers to drop with you guys. So the Colonel knife versus my Warrior Poet here. The blade steel is the same. It's a carbon stainless steel N690CO. Have no idea what that means, but Colonel Blades, their folding knife was the exact same. The hardness on the War Poet is an 59-61. The Colonel Blades was a 58-60. Again, I have no idea what that actually means, but if you guys go and Google, and maybe I'll upload a picture right here so you guys can see what the Colonel Blades was. Blade length, 3.25 inches versus 3 inches. Open length is 6.375 versus 6.5. Closed length, this is 4.5 versus 4.375. So again, it's a very similar knife. So here's what I love about this knife. First of all, when that's in your pocket, looks like a normal knife, has a very nice, easy open, and then a wonderful grip. If you guys can see here, we got some little finger grooves, and it just fits wonderfully. The shape of the knife is a little unique compared to like the K-Bar TDI, which is a very flat edge. This one does have a little Tonto edge, if you will, on there. The blade does have a locking mechanism, so that's not going anywhere. And then it has a button here. So let me see if I can kind of get this in on the inner parts of the knife. So when I push here, well, maybe let's try this side. When I push here, it gets that line lock that allows me to close the blade. It does take a minute to hit that and start folding in. You got to let the button go, and it proceeds to close. But the knife is fantastic. Just fun. Great, obviously, for boxes. Great for punching. You can hold, obviously like a jab. You can also put it rear side for slashing. And then boxes, who cares how we hold it, right? Fantastic knife. Now, there are two things that I maybe don't care for the knife. Oh, before I forget, also, the clip can be switched. You guys can see here on the other side, so you can switch your pocket clip if you're a lefty or a righty. So it is an ambi knife. So the one thing I didn't care for is it does take just a little bit of practice to hit that to close it easily. But the scales on this, it's some kind of a G10 scale. It's very, very rough, which for a self-defense purpose would be great, right? It's not going to come out of your hand. You get that open, you hold it, and I mean, it's not going anywhere. However, pulling in and out of my pocket, let me see if I can kind of make this catch on my shirt. It's very, very tacky. Okay, so I've tried wearing this in a pair of slacks. It wouldn't even clip on to the slack pocket. It was catching too much on the pocket material. One of my 511 shorts, I've had the same problem. It just doesn't slide into the pocket well. The clip, and I'm glad they've got a good clip, but the clip on here is a beast. Let's see if I can, I can barely bend that out. So it's a tight clip. I don't know if this will loosen up over time. I may have to kind of modify it a little bit, but for certain situations, a fixed blade is obviously going to be a little bit better, right? If I'm carrying this fixed blade, I would typically carry it in like an appendix carry, and I need to go and I need to bring the knife out for a box or for party favors. I go, I grab, I pull, and I can go right to town. Other fixed blades that I've used are like the clinch pick, which again, a great knife. I also keep appendix, so you know I'm carrying this, grab, pull, you can go to town. Now obviously we get into a folding knife, it's not going to have the same ease. However, if I'm pulling the knife out, I've opened it, readjust the grip, I can go to town. So it does take that extra step, just something to be aware of. Another extra step if you have to lock it. So this isn't going to be quick, but for certain places where you cannot have a fixed blade, California, or you want to avoid other potential issues, this is going to be an amazing knife. It's a little expensive. I believe I bought this, it was 170 bucks, but I think it's worth it. I also like this little piece here. I don't think it's for this, but would just be a good impact tool. Just to be able to hold and go to town there. Do a wonder on windows, I'm sure. I did want to show, just so you guys have visual context, the blade length. I wanted to compare it to kind of like a small, this is a little intact necklace knife, just so you guys can see how small the actual blade is. It looks significantly beefy, right? I mean, holding that in my hand, it's a good sized knife. But the actual edge part of the blade itself, right? If I hold these like so, let's see if I can get them lined up. Perfect. Right? It's not a huge blade, you guys. So again, this is not carrying around a full-size K-bar. It is carrying around a smaller bladed knife. Again, you're looking at about 3¼ inches, but that's definitely enough to do the job you need. Comparing it to something like the clinch pick. Again, clinch pick, I actually think the clinch pick has more, let's see if I can get, yeah, so the clinch pick actually has a little bit more blade real estate there. And then, what about like so this is a Leatherman, this is a Wingman blade. Gonna be about the same, right? So again, good for tearing down boxes, good for an emergency self-defense knife. I wish the scales weren't quite as rough, but I get it, right? If you're going into a situation that you're gonna have to have a good grip on it, you're gonna want that extra tacky. But for putting in and out of my pocket every day, I do think it's gonna be a little bit of a pain. And then the pocket clip, which again, I'd rather have a pocket clip that's more tension than less tension, so I know it's not going to fall out. And I may be able to slightly loosen these Allen bolts here. So if if I'm able to make some modifications, I'll let you guys know in the description. But otherwise, hopefully this helps you have a wise buy. Personally, I think this is a fantastic knife. I will be carrying this every day from here on out. So thank you, Warrior Poet Society, for bringing back a wonderful blade. I appreciate it. Have a great day, you guys.